Here's a couple more items that Mark at Fantasia sent me. Some benches. He's 3D printed, and I've just painted them up in the undercoat, and they're quite nice, these benches, when you find the right one. There we go, that one there, that looks alright. So I'm going to paint these in EWS colours. It's a better brown than an oak brown or whatever. If you look at an EWS colour, they do come dark and light, so I think it'd look alright. We'll see what the outcome is anyway. So I'll come back to you as soon as I've done it. Right. In the previous film I showed you I was painting benches. I've done them now. And there's one here. There's one here. Got potholes in me roadway. I'll have to get a roadway team in. That's another excuse. Oh yeah, went off subject there. I'll put through here at the station. I'll move around and show you in a moment. And then I got another bunch down there on the grass. See? At least the local council is having a go. Anyway, I'll move the camera position now. And there we go. Two outside the station, which I think is quite ideal there. And as you can see, the EWS colour paint has come out quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. That's another little addition to the layout. So there you go. Moving on. Right guys, this is another part of what Mark at Fantasia sent me. These are the wagons, the low ballast type wagons, and what I'm doing, I'm spraying them in a white primer. Okay, and if I zoom in on the axles there, which are going to be axle bogies, they'll be all in black. The buffers will be a mixture of black. They're still on the sprue at the moment. That's the chassis, that with the two holes in, that's the chassis. Then with the wagon loads there, so they've had a coat of undercoat, and the others is the bodies. So there you go. So what we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8 wagons. Yeah. There you go. So with the white undercoat, the yellow, I'm going to do them in yellow, so they should come out better with a white undercoat, hopefully. So that's where we're up to at the moment. They're just drying off, and then we'll start on the yellow at some time. I'll let them settle for a day or so yet. Okay, back in a bit. So you've seen them on the floor. I have now sprayed them up. This is only in primer, and I've put the bogies, painted the bogies, and put 10.5mm wheels on them. No, I haven't painted underneath yet. I just wanted to try them. If you get bigger wheels, you'll end up binding on the inside of the chassis. So these are 10.5 small ones, and they work perfect, absolutely perfect, them. So that's where I'm up to on this at the moment. So basically I'm halfway through. I've done the buffers, but I haven't finished them off yet, but I don't want to do that until the end, the buffers. So at least I got 7 out of the 9 that Mark sent me. One's a bit off. the chassis didn't quite fit the body. It was a few millimetres out actually, and the other one I'm using as spare parts because I haven't got all the wheel bogies. But that's pretty good, that, I think. I'm going to show you. It's a bit up. So I've got to paint all that into a yellow, network yellow. And I've got 7 trucks, which is fair length, isn't it? It's an average. Okay, come back to you when I've done some more. Right, I'm putting this together as a test piece. Works great. Okay. Now the only hassle is how much paint you put in your wheel bogies when you're painting them. Just beware, just don't overpaint the inside where the wheels go. Yes, I know it needs touching up here and there, but that's, you're not going to see that. That's going to be on the floor of the rails. What I'm suggesting is just be aware when you put the screw in, okay? This is an M4 nut and bolt. Put a washer underneath there and a washer on there, and when you screw this in, it will actually thread its way into this chassis, okay? And then you tighten it up so it doesn't move, not over tight, just to pinch it up, and then back the screw off half a turn, and that gives you plenty of play as well as up and down movement for your track flexibility. Okay, and just on preliminarily just checking it out basically. If I can get the wheels, there we go. It actually works. Obviously you got to run them in. You got to bed the wheels into the bogie. The more you run them, the better you will get. Okay. Now, don't be disturbed about you be seeing, oh, the bolts are sticking up. Well, Mark's thought of that. Mark has made a load, so you can put the load in. So you make that any colour you wish. Okay. And in fact, it rolls even better because you got that extra few more grams. And what I'm going to do is put a coat of PVA on this load. These come in these things. Okay, all I've done is painted this. It comes in that colour. Just put a thin PVA on there and sprinkle some fine ballast on it. And the instant ballast struck, which will give you a few more grams for better running again. Well, there you go. All I've got to do now is finish off the painting. But I thought I'd just test that. And the NEM socket is flush with the end. Okay, it's not sticking out. It's nice and neat. So it'll be quite a close coupling actually. But as you can see, it's gliding along nicely. And what I've used is a 10.5mm wheel. Okay, they are small, but it, like I said, it fits the chassis perfectly. And if I can, the inside wheel doesn't touch this section here, the bogie. So you get some 10.5 wheels, 10.5mm wheels, which are the small ones basically. Use them on low max or that Hornby tankers, they had them on. There's quite a few vehicles having these on, but because I swapped all my tankers out for metal wheels, I had all these left over. But they're ideal for this. And it, as demonstrated, it runs smoothly. Okay, moving on. We'll see what we can get up to next. We haven't finished them yet. Right, just to show you, I've just finished painting them as best I can. The airbrush give up, so I've hand painted them. Okay, with what's it called? 69, yellow 69 I think it is, umbral, and a bit of thinners. So they're still wet at the moment. If I zoom in, yeah, still wet. A bit patchy where they've been drying, but they should come out quite well. And it looks better by eye than in the camera, stuffed as it may seem. So there we go. And the next stage is to put it all together. Back in a bit. Right guys, I thought I'd get you up to speed. I've been able to do 5, but as daft as it may seem, I've run out of bolts. I've got plenty of washers, plenty of nuts, but I haven't got the bolts for the bogies. So I've got to go to the shop again and get some more bolts. Unreal. But I've done 5 of them. I'm waiting on the decals yet, so but that's basically it. And the loads it's going on top are these. Okay, they're prepared, ready. I just got to trim them in because the tolerances are off a little bit. All I got to say at this point is watch where you're putting the paint for when you're putting the NEM pockets in your connectors. So I haven't got round to doing the buffers yet, but we'll get to that point. But at least I've got 5 ready, and they're all Hunt's couplings, very close couplings they are at the moment. So once the buffers are gone in, we'll have a look at the clearances. But at this point it looks okay to me. So yeah, they work quite well. 10.5mm wheels. They're all plastic actually, they're old wheels, but they work. That's the main thing. So that's about it up to now and where we're up to. So once I got the bolts, I'll complete the rest of it and I'll come back to you. Okay? Back in a bit. Just a quick point of interest. I've put Hunt's couplings on them. The Elite close couplings, as you can see. And that's the screws you put in the bottom. And when you put these in, they will actually thread themselves into the body, and then you put 2 nuts on. Okay, don't have to do them tight or anything. What I found was once you threaded these bolts through the bogie into the body, just snug it up and then back it off half a turn. That way you get enough play to go around points, corners and any undulations in the layout. Okay, it's as simple as that. And basically you put the nut on just to secure it in place. You can put a spot of super glue on it, whatever you think. Now the other issue I'm doing now, not issue, is the holes for the buffers. Okay, and you can get one of these what they call pin drills. Yeah, you get them off Amazon, and the hole's already there, and you want a 2mm bit, and you just drill through. Don't push too hard, just let it bite its way through on its own. Okay, there we go, through. What you got to remember, you see the difference in the sizes. You're going to fill these holes with paint when you're painting them. Okay, that's the crazy part about it. So when you drill them out, it allows the buffers, the 3D buffers that come with the kit, to slide in, and then you just touch your super glue. And what you do, you don't drill too far because it comes out that end, yeah? See? It's only just to make a reaming it out, basically. And the buffers should just slide in, touch the super glue, job done. And because I got close couplings on, it will go round a third and fourth radius. Second radius, I very much doubt it. You need a slight, but this is this close couplings. So if you've got a standard coupling or standard coupling, you'd have no issues. Okay, I'll show you one with the buffers on before I. What I've done is file the buffers down, taking the paint off, and it gives you that look, you know. And there they are, fitted into place, and they just pop through the back there. See, just about to see it popping through. Well, that's what I've done. Once I've put them into place, secured them, let them dry 10 minutes, and then just go around with a one of them files. You get nail files. You can get a kit for the pens, really, and just take the excess paint off, and it gives it a better look. Well, like I said, once you got the paint off, it works better on the track when it gets to the third radius. Obviously, with 3D printing, it's not perfect. There is tolerances, so just be aware of 3D printing, okay? But this is where I'm up to so far. Okay, back in a sec. The next thing I want to show you on the points. These are medium points. If you have a set track points, it more than likely get a buffer clash. Okay, so there it is on the curve. Let me zoom in. Okay. Let's get the camera right. There, okay. And we'll follow it through. So on the points, it's clear. There's a couple of millimeters there separating it, and okay. So on medium points, Pico that was, you have no issues. Okay, so that'll work great on my layout because they're all medium. And I'll show you the curve next. Hang on. Right. Now we're on the corner. This is third radius. Still got a bit of fettling to do yet. A bit of paint here and there. You can see they are close, okay? But they don't buffer lock. That's the main thing. So if I back it off, and no issues. Like I say, I doubt if it'd work on a second radius, but it works on third radius, okay? And that's with Hunt's couplings, close coupling, which is, it says on here, close couplings for the Oxford Mark III coaches on that one. That's the ones I got to go on this. So there you go. That gives you a reference of what you want to go for. And they look like that. Very, very close coupling, see? And you'll say on, I think it says OX on the inside there. Well, that's what they are, basically. Okay. What else can I show you up to now? Well, I'm still fettling with it, you know, just adjusting and a bit of filing here and there to get excess paint off and things like that. So moving on, we'll come back to you when I've done a bit more, okay? At this part of the build, I need to show you where we're up to. I've got 2 more to do because I've run out of nuts and bolts. There's the bolts. Now I use these type, okay? And I've got a screw head on the back, Phillips or flathead, whatever you want. Depends on what you can get. But Andy at March West Junction has got this type of bolt, but it's flanged, not flanged, countersunk. Yeah, that's it. Countersunk. So when you put it into the actual bogie, okay, it doesn't need a washer because you can't put a washer on a countersunk. So basically you put that in there, okay? Let me zoom out a bit. So that's how where your nut goes. Sorry, wrong way up. Always get you wrong. Right, goes in there, okay? So you never see that. And then that screws into the bottom of there. Now, on an M4, like we've got, okay, M4 nut and bolts, if he used the countersunk version, which he'll show you on his channel when he's sorted himself out, it actually threads itself on the way in, okay? So you don't really need a nut on the top, but I'll show you why I put a nut on the top. Let me just screw that in there. Now, what I've found out of trial and error, okay, is nip it up. Don't over tighten it, just nip it up so it doesn't move, and then back it off half a turn. And that allows the bogie half a turn or a bit more. I think it needs a bit more on that one. There we go. It allows the bogie to float, okay? Turn easy and float. Now, the reason why you see that protrudes on the top inside now, this, so you put a washer on there, put a nut on it, okay? It's not to secure it really. Well, you can use a little bit of super glue. Just nip it up. Now the reason why I do that, see, I haven't tightened it up at all. It still plays plenty of movement. The reason I put a nut on there, that Mark comes up with these loads, okay? 3D print, and they're shaped. They've got shapes, and what I've done is paint it with PVA and sprinkle ballast on it. I'll let it set. Now the reason I leave the nut in there, it actually sits on top of the nut, okay? So it's not sitting in the bottom of the bogie. This is the way I want to do it anyway, okay? So what I do is put a spot of glue on the end of the nut. That sits on the top and the load is secure, but you can always get it out. That's the main thing. And it produces it at the right height to me. It just sets it at the right height. Okay? So I'll go ahead and put the other one in while we're here. Like I said, I've put Hunt's couplings on as well, which works great at the moment. I've done some testing and it goes around the corners great, no issues. Like I said, if you use an M4 bolt, it threads itself going through the hole into the body, Okay. There we go. Just back it up a little bit more. There we go. Yep, plenty of movement there. Washer over the top. Nut on the top of there. Just nip the nut up. That's it. Like I said, because you put the load on the top, it actually sits right. Okay? Sits straight and level. It's as simple as that. And what I mean is, I'll show you as a demonstration, because I know what people are like. Super glue, okay? Just fills up the centre of the nut. There we go. And because you've made a little puddle in the nut, when you put this on, it sits level, straight, and then it holds it. So you have no issues about this falling out then. Okay? And with that, when I can get it on the track, that's the trouble. There we go. Okay. So there you go. The others, I'll show you going through the points, and then there's no issues then. If I push from the back. Okay. Come back through. Well, there you go. I'm just waiting on the transfers, which should be here later today. The other thing is, to get these wheels to spin properly, this is a 10.5 millimeter axle, okay? Yes, they're plastic, but plastic's just as good as metal. It'll do for what I want to use it for. How often are you going to use it? Why go to all that expense? But from what I gather, 10.5 sits in there without rubbing on the inside of the bogie. If you get a 12 mil, it will rub just there. Now, Andy at Mattress Junction, he's gone for the fine scale one, and there's enough gap between the wheel and the chassis, so he has no issue. So he's got 12.5 millimeter ones, and I've got 10.5. Well, I had a bunch of these left over for when I swapped out all the BOC gas tanks. I changed them all to metal wheels, didn't I? Was it? No, not the BOC. The ones I made, the blue ones. Well, there you go. I think in sales wise, you'll have to ask Mark if you're going to buy these trucks. Ask him how much these are. I'm not sure how much he's flogging them for. But the last I saw on the eBay account, these were £4.30. And of course I had the wheels spare anyway, so and a packet of nut and bolts, which was my local shop, £1. Obviously you need quite a few, so not so much that. You can get them in the other type of packets. Let's have a look here. Nut and bolt washers, and they were only £1 a piece as well, and you get all that lot. What I was short of was the bolts. I run out of bolts. Well, there you go. So therefore, yeah, I've just demonstrated to you. And like I said, I'm waiting on the decals to come. The only issue I had was painting them. the paint would not dry. I had to take them up to the house to get the paint to dry. Wouldn't dry in the shed here. Too cold, too damp. That was my only issue. The worst thing that happened, really. And because they're on magnetic couplings, see, I haven't got to worry about it, have I? And they drive in a straight line. That's the main thing. And they glide nicely. Right. I'll tell you a few more things yet. Hang on. Better push the record button on it just to show you that it works. There we go. Just have to stop on a point. All going through the points there, see? Get it up to speed. This is the first time out. I haven't tested this. Let me move the camera across so I don't stop the recording. And it's been out and back. Very first test run this. Because I've got trains all over the place packed up just to run this. As daft as it may seem. And as you can see, perfect. I think that's a damn good rig to have now, there. An engineering train like that. Right. What else is there? Photo bombed. Right, after the previous clip, I did the wagons and then the decals turned up. So I'll show you the decals I put on them. Let's stop the train. And there you go. I put them on. It's just about right, really. And you know whose it is. I didn't get any what do they call them, the letters that tells you what truck it is, or the loading weights on you can put on it. Didn't get them stickers, just the network rail. But I think they're just about right. I did the best I could, but the problem was I wrecked my paintbrush, the airbrush. I wrecked it, destroyed it, so it had to get deleted. So in the end I had to hand paint these, and I've not quite finished hand painting yet, because if you look at the top, they've got white edges, and well, I want to put a yellow edge on it. But as a truck, as it is, it's brilliant. Oh, and the other thing I did was I didn't have enough wheels at the time, and I found 4 wheels. That's why I didn't paint this one yellow. I painted it in this sea grey, as they call it, on the tin, which is just as good colour wise. Got no internal load to go with it, but I've used one of my older aluminium slab type loads to go in it, but I can use that anywhere. And that's got the standard couplings on it, where the others there, that's the standard length one. If I back it up, I'll show you how close it is. You may have just noticed it. Bit more, bit more. There we go. There we go. That's how close I've got them. You can't go any closer. And they just kiss on a third radius at that distance. That's close couplings, that is. Meant for a Mark III coach, because they were spare at the time because they didn't fit the coaches. So as you can see, or can you? Depending on the light, isn't it? And they're in there, they're in there. Just about see it underneath. Well, they're the close couplings anyway. You can't get it any closer. Remember, they're not even sprung buffers, they're solid buffers. But I did the best I could with the equipment I got. And my equipment's give up, so I had to hand paint them. And I think they turned out well. And like I said, I just got to paint the top edge to finish it off. Once that's done, they're complete. Well, good enough for the layout anyway. But they actually look quite good in the grey as well, so I did that with a rattle can and it come out far better. A lot neater with a rattle can, isn't it? Anyway, that's why they're there. In hindsight, I should have done this, that and the other, you know, there's always something, but you learn as you go. But I didn't have a lot of choice. The problem is, I made a batch up of paint with the thinners and everything ready for the airbrush. And I'll show you the bottle. Hang on a sec, while you're looking at that there. I made the batch up. It's all in there, ready to go in the airbrush. Well, I set it all up outside. I opened the doors because this is enamel paints. Got a table out there, got the airbrush. The airbrush is down there somewhere, the compressor. And as I sat down, I caught the air pipe. And it ragged it straight out of my hand, and the cup was full of paint ready to spray. Well, all that cup deposited on my knee here, totaled me trousers. Now I expected this to go completely yellow. No, it went straight through. The thinners made a right mess, but there was no paint there. So, I'll leave it. I was in a bleeding mess anyway. I was trying to clean everything up, and of course I destroyed the airbrush, because as it hit the deck, it was the front end hit the concrete floor, completely destroyed it. Bent the nibs and destroyed the little screw-on thing. It was all out of shape and everything. So for 20 quid, it got deleted, went in the bin. So, like I said, that was that was the batch I made up ready to do it. So in the end, I ended up painting the trucks in this. Now it doesn't work. Well, it did to a point, but I wasn't happy with it. So this paint job, now it's on the trucks, is neat out of the tin. And of course, you don't get the same finish hand painting, do you? well, you do and you don't. So, my camera lens going misty because of the humidity in here. What's the humidity in here? 75%. I'll show you. Where is it? There it is. I've got a heater on and it's getting a bit humidity. There you go. So, but they run absolutely brilliant. 10.5mm wheels, which is the small low Mac type wheels you can get. They all come off the blue tankers I had, which I re-wheeled for metal wheels, and I was surprised I didn't bin them all. Anyway, they kept them and I got them all there now. So that's the main thing. So I'll set them up, go the right way, as you do. There you go. Right, one last thing I need to show you. What I've done with these trucks. Because I've filed all the paint off, I've now painted them silver. It's a metal colour, okay? Just painted the ends of the buffers, both ends. Left the shanks black. And I used a car paint to paint these bogies, which was a bit thick. That's why it looks a bit rough. If you have a thin black paint, maybe better. But the issues I found, because I used the paint a bit heavily on the bogies, the wheels wouldn't spin. Now you can see the wheels spinning there or hear them, right? They spin freely. What I had to do, okay, is drill, ream the hole out. I.e., basically take the access paint out of the axle where the pin bearings go in. By doing that, as soon as you put the wheels in, if it doesn't spin, just a light drill out of the sockets where the pin bearing goes in, and you have no issues. Now, if you want to know how it's done, you get one of these from Amazon, pin drills, and it's a hand drill, and they come very, very small, and it's like a 1mm or less, just to take the paint out of where the pin bearings go in. And then it only needs 4 or 5 turns of the drill to take the excess paint out. Trial and error. If it doesn't spin, take a little bit more. But as soon as you find them to freewheel, no issues. Okay. And that's how it's done. So I've still got to paint the top edge yellow yet, okay? But as you see, in the demonstration, I put 2 spots of glue on the top of them nuts, and the load doesn't fall out, okay? My issue was down here, because I wrecked the airbrush and I painted it, because of the conditions in the shed, the paint wouldn't dry. So I got the paint to dry in the house, in a dry atmosphere up there, come back down here, painted this in fresh paint, okay, straight out of the tin, which is the Humbrol Enamel Gloss 69, okay, that's the one I've used, and then repainted these down here by hand, by brush. I didn't do it underneath the chassis, it doesn't need it really. I did with the thinners, with the initial stuff I did, but afterwards I went over with neat paint straight out of the tin. That's why it looks a little bit rough in places, whereas if you had an airbrush, it would come out in thinner and finer way of doing it, I would have thought. Well, there you go. You live and learn. But when you wreck your equipment, what do you expect? But I hope Mark is pleased with that. He says he is. I've sent him a short clip on it. Where are we now? Let's get the right train. And there we go. I've had them running for hours. I've had no derailments whatsoever. So I'm well pleased about that. All these white bits, I can touch them up at a later date. Or add a bit more ballast to the side. Depends how you put your loads in. I mean, you can make the loads up. You only need a strip of cardboard or plastic card, and you just make your own loads up. It's as simple as that. It'd be cheaper than buying ones. Far cheaper. It depends on how you want to do it, but that's what I've done. Everybody does it differently. People won't have the same transfers. But there you go. And I've just shorted me everything out. That's because that's Hornby on a set of points. Well, you know where the frog is? Hornby trains are wider wheels. That's what that's all about. So when it comes to these narrow frogs on the Picos, the wheel touches. That's what that's all about. You don't get it on a Bachmann. They got better wheels. So these are cheap and nasty wheels that won't be produced. So wouldn't be so bad if I had the right train on here, would it? Where are we? There we go. Depends on which way the direction's going. If it goes that way, it doesn't do it. As daft as it may seem. There you go. So I hope that helps you out about Mark selling these on eBay. £4.30 a pop. You make them to what you customise to your preference, isn't it? You customise them. But that's what he sent me to do. Sort these out. So therefore, there you go. Beats 20 to 30 quid on eBay, doesn't it? £4.30. Hey, can't more of that. Seriously. Alright guys, so I'll leave it at that, and thank you very much for watching. I'm sure there's going to be lots more to come shortly. Christmas is coming. Okay guys, all stay safe. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.